All right, let's jump right into this explainer and unpack how advanced data science is literally transforming Malaysia's traditional Zakat system into a highly optimized macroeconomic engine. For centuries, Zakat, the Islamic practice of almsgiving, has functioned mostly as a decentralized, faith-based duty, usually rooted in local agricultural communities. But what happens when you take that ancient obligation and inject it with unsupervised machine learning, spatial econometricians, and probabilistic algorithms? Well, you get a mathematical engine capable of targeting and eradicating poverty on a national scale. It is absolutely fascinating. To really grasp the massive macroeconomic scale we're talking about here, consider this. By 2024, national Zakat distribution hit an unprecedented RM 4.7 billion. To put that into perspective, that's roughly 0.233% of the entire national GDP. So we aren't just talking about local charity anymore. This is a literal cornerstone of national social finance. But, and it's a big but, despite these record-breaking nominal highs, researchers spotted a critical vulnerability. The actual purchasing power of these funds is constantly fighting this invisible war against inflation and a highly fragmented administrative system. So here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. A macroeconomic philanthropic engine. 2. The friction of fragmentation. 3. Bridging faith and data. 4. Grouping by economic DNA. 5. Unlocking premium Zakat potential. And finally, 6. The end game, eradicating poverty. Let's get into it.
Section 1. A macroeconomic philanthropic engine.
To understand how this evolves from a decentralized agrarian tradition into a sophisticated multi-state financial powerhouse, we kind of have to stop looking at it as just a series of isolated charitable transactions. The Triple Loop Stability Framework maps out how institutional charity actually functions as a continuous, self-regulating engine. It's like a giant flywheel. As national GDP expands, aggressive income enforcement captures more funds. Those larger funds accelerate poverty reduction, which then elevates social mobility. And guess what? That feeds right back into the broader economy. This continuous macroeconomic feedback loop is the ultimate engine of socioeconomic harmonization.
Moving on to Section 2, the friction of fragmentation.
Now, despite those record highs and brilliant theoretical loops, there are structural frictions seriously holding the system back. The core issue? Geographic asymmetry. Malaysia administers Zakat across 14 distinct state authorities, and each one has its own local thresholds and policies. So the crucial takeaway here is that 80% of national collection is heavily concentrated in just 6 states. This creates what's called HQ bias. Basically, immense corporate wealth is generated by cross-border labor, but it's officially collected at corporate headquarters in industrialized zones. That wealth then gets legally locked into local safety nets. The result is the statistical mirage where highly industrialized states look like they're flourishing philanthropically, while rural areas where honestly much of the raw economic labor actually happens are left structurally underfunded. It's a huge bottleneck.
Section 3, bridging faith and data.
Before any of this advanced optimization can even happen, we have to confront a massive hurdle, and that is terrible data. State-level records have historically been full of missing information and reporting inconsistencies. If you look at the high-contrast yellow bands in the data missingness matrix here, those represent gaping historical voids. In the raw data sets, they're simply labeled tiada maklumat, which literally just means no information. Think about it. If a state council doesn't have accurate historical data on savings, gold, or business Zakat, how can they possibly optimize for the future? Spoiler alert, they can't. But instead of just throwing their hands up and tossing out the data, the researchers do something brilliant. They use probabilistic naive Bayes algorithms and Sharia forensic accounting to mathematically fill in those informational voids and unify the reporting architecture. By leveraging machine learning to reconstruct these fiscal timelines, they successfully transitioned the whole ecosystem from just blindly accepting whatever data was available to performing active, rigorous diagnostic analysis. They basically built a mathematical bridge right over the historical potholes.
All right, Section 4, grouping by economic DNA.
So now that we actually have clean data, we can use unsupervised machine learning to cluster states by how their economies function under the hood, rather than where they just happen to sit on an arbitrary map. When we contrast these two archetype models, payroll hubs and corporate hubs, we uncover a massive hidden challenge for payroll hubs. See, they easily capture visible monthly salaries through automated deductions, but they completely fail to capture the accumulated savings wealth of that exact same demographic. Think about it for a second. If a region has really high monthly salary collections, by sheer mathematical necessity, that population must have high bank savings, right? Yet, the data showed a severe drop-off in savings zakat in those exact areas. It's a massive, asymmetric blind spot. By plotting states based on their collection per capita and corporate reliance, K-means clustering autonomously organizes them into this strategic diagnostic matrix. What's so cool about this is that it proves, through machine learning, that state ecosystems follow systemic behavioral patterns totally free of geographic bias. This is a real game changer. It allows policymakers to design surgical, highly targeted interventions based on a state's unique economic DNA, instead of just applying a lazy, one-size-fits-all national policy.
Section 5. Unlocking Premium Zakat Potential.
Fitra is historically viewed as a flat, low-yield, obligatory payment during Ramadan. But actually, there is a massive hidden treasure here if we view it through the lens of socioeconomic segmentation. Notice that dotted line marking the 20% target. By utilizing targeted digital behavioral nudges, affluent demographics, specifically the M40 and T20 classes, can be shifted to pay zakat relative to their actual lifestyle. Successfully nudging just 20% of middle and upper class payers away from flat minimum rates transforms what was a static tax into a highly progressive, high-yield revenue stream. It's huge. And just to prove this isn't merely theoretical wishful thinking, a rigorous Monte Carlo simulation mathematically validates the expected revenue ranges. By running 1,000 stochastic iterations, basically simulating random real-world fluctuations in adoption rates, the researchers proved that this premium shift isn't just a best-case scenario. It's a mathematically robust strategy that can actually generate more total revenue for a state than its entire gold or stock zakat portfolios combined. That is absolutely staggering. Check out those red dots hovering in the top right of the campaign priority matrix. Those represent states with both a massive overall zakat economy and a huge mathematical multiplier gap between their base and premium rates. Administrators can use this exact matrix to surgically deploy digital marketing campaigns right to that upper right quadrant, capturing the highest volume of untapped potential. Let's be real, if you have a limited marketing budget, this matrix tells you exactly where to spend every single ringgit for maximum operational efficiency.
Which brings us to Section 6, the end game, eradicating poverty.
At the end of the day, all these matrices, simulations, and algorithms have one profound objective. By bridging traditional econometrics with biological system dynamics, the researchers frame the optimized zakat system as a predator systematically eliminating the prey of poverty. I love this analogy. Instead of viewing charity as a passive safety net just trying to catch people as they fall, this model conceptualizes a highly optimized, data-driven ecosystem as an active hunting force. Its sole biological imperative in the economy is to consume and completely eliminate systemic deprivation. And here is the grand finale of this research, a stunning simulation showing the poverty curve peaking and then plummeting until it is completely overtaken by harmonized zakat around year 42. By using a Lotka-Volterra differential equation, which is actually a model typically used by biologists to track predator and prey populations, the researchers project the long-term impact of algorithmic harmonization. The red line of poverty rises initially, sure, but as the green line of optimized zakat gains momentum and massive efficiency, poverty peaks, plummets, and is completely consumed. It proves that with data-driven harmonization, permanent social equity isn't just some utopian dream, it's a mathematical eventuality, for sure. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final thought to consider about the future of data-driven social policy in your own community. We've seen how integrating machine learning, spatial econometrics, and behavioral nudges can take a fragmented charitable system and turn it into a surgically precise engine for economic justice. What this research ultimately shows us is that the resources to solve our most pressing social issues might already exist right in front of us, just waiting for the exact right algorithm to unlock them. Thanks so much for joining me today, and keep questioning the data around you.